Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Galaxy TV and especially to the show, The Buzz. This is the program that keeps you updated on what is trending on social media, and we'll bring it to you as it breaks. And today will be no different, as we'll be focusing on matters bordering on lifestyle. My name is Patience Bello Okafor. I welcome you to the show alongside Alero. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Patience. Yes, I get excited once it's a Thursday because we get to discuss lifestyle, relationship, and relationship is something in which I know a lot of people get to contribute more on social media.
That's true. That's true. People like sensational stories.
Of course.
They like scandal.
Enough of Monday to Thursday.
They like scandal. All right, we're here to serve it to you hot on the show. Don't forget, the show is interactive. You can interact with us on the show using all of our social media portals.
That is hashtag The Buzz on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Galaxy TV, and also on Twitter at official Galaxy TV, knowing that you can get to watch previous editions of The Buzz via our YouTube channel. All what you need to do is subscribe to Galaxy TV Nigeria. And voila!
Yes, we're right there. And of course, you can send an SMS using the number 0708 5407 The number will be on your screen in a bit. Please let us use it for SMS only. Don't call the number. All right, let's introduce our panel for this lovely afternoon. It's going to be an all-ladies affair, and that's not intentional. I need to mention that it's not intentional at all. All right, it just happened. All right, sitting very close to me is a dear friend and a sister, and of course, a very popular face on television. She is a gospel artist, amongst other things. It's a pleasure to have Gloria Doyle here on the show. Thank you for coming, Gloria. All right, and of course, right there in the middle, she's the chief judge at the table this afternoon. A woman that is quite vocal, you know, and of course, she's very intentional in whatever she says as well. She's a minister and also an advocate for women. It's a pleasure to have Pastor Ola with us on the show.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for coming.
So much.
And of course, that very beautiful woman at the end of the table there, she's been here once before, so she's making a comeback today. And aside being a fine face on Instagram and everywhere else on social media, she is also a marriage therapist. It's a pleasure to have Witty Sally with us on the show. Hi, Sally.
Hello.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, people are calling already. Nigerians. Simple instruction. Simple instruction. Don't call. All right. So, girls.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Ladies.
Girls. Excuse me. All right, so we'll go to our first topic of the day, which is addressing domestic violence. Entrepreneur and philanthropist Ambassador Don Osage has been accused of beating his wife and locking her up against her will. Osage allegedly beats up his wife, Winifred. He hit her head with the handle of a knife, then locked her up in their house somewhere in Benin in Edo State until she had to send an SMS to her brothers, and they rushed down to break her out of the house. Of course, a video has been trending online where the wife is seen crying while dressed in a torn jumpsuit, and she said the husband was the one who tore her clothes and some other things. All right, so we have a clip of that video that is online. Plus, we also have a clip of the husband and how he responded, you know, to the whole thing. And coming back to back with that video, we have another video. It's an excerpt from a movie that is targeting domestic violence. So you see how families also respond, you know, when some women are actually going through abuse in their marriage. We take those videos, and when we come back, we'll start talking.
So the one that tore your shirt, I mean?
Yes, and at the end of the night, so in my head, he was pressing it with cold Capri Sun for me.
On a luxury inside behind against your will, I mean?
Yes, he was packing my things. We were traveling. He was packing my things for me.
If you are a woman, stop trying to be a man in your relationship. You understand? You know, I was in a bus today. You know, I see so many women trying to act like a man. You cannot be the husband in the house. You understand? We live in the 21st century where women think that they can just do everything. You understand? They can do everything. It's very, very wrong. As a woman, if your husband tells you, baby, don't do this, you should not do it. You understand? So if you're a woman, you know, forget about that feminist thing you are talking about. But a man is always supposed to be a man. When your husband or your boyfriend even, if you are with a man, if he tells you, don't do that, you should respect that. Because it gets on a man's ego when you don't respect him. You know, you disrespecting your man can create so many social vices, so many problems that can easily be solved. You understand? So if you're a woman, I encourage you to be a very, very good woman. You understand? Don't push your boyfriend or your husband to the edge that when they now do something to you, then it becomes a problem. You understand? You should always know how to pet your man, your husband. You understand? Believe me or not, I'm a great pet. You understand? All the women I've dated all my life, I pet them very, very good. You understand? Until they get out of line. You understand? And if you get out of line, what I normally do as a young guy growing up, I never break up with no female. If you get out of line, I treat you the way you went out of line.
Bisi, my daughter, are you hearing me? When we reach the house, it is we beg, you know. We beg him Monday to forgive you all the bad things you have done. I just pray you learn your lesson from this suffer you have suffered. You provoking your husband that beat you like this till you almost died. What if you died? What will the world say about me and your family? They will say we did not train you well. If your husband throw you out of his house, where will you go? Answer me, where will you go? You want to come back to live with me at your age after 8 years in husband's house? You don't want to see your son again. You have to keep your marriage, and God will continue to help you. You hear me? There's nothing you can do. You just have to endure. You hear me? My dear son, sorry, oh. Nobody to cook for you for this last week. Please, forgive your wife. Because of God.
You see what you cause. You see yourself. Just to let this good woman kneel down the beg for you. Well, stand up, carry your bag inside, Jerry.
My son, God will bless you. God will give you another baby to replace the pregnancy that was lost.
Amen.
Oshe, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
No problem.
Welcome back. All right. So, yes, we saw those videos there. The first one was the wife that was beaten, you know, telling her story. Then the husband, you know, explaining why he beat the wife. He was only correcting her. And we had to show that excerpt from that movie so that we know how typically in Nigeria, you know, families of abused women, how they react, you know, when this thing comes out. Now, we start with Gloria because you had a personal experience with domestic violence in your marriage. Let's talk about domestic violence as it affects women.
It's an experience that traumatizes. It's an experience that reduces you as a woman.
Dehumanizes
you. Understand? And the society in general will not even look at you as somebody, you understand? You need to stand as a man. If you're somebody that has gone through it or have experienced it, you know. I was actually calling my marriage a 7 years hammer house of horror, because it was 7 years continuously getting beaten, you know, and just like the movie we watched, you know, my father will tell you, go back. Because one, my mother will not equally tell you, go back, because I came from a polygamous family. You understand? And I will be the first among the girls before me that will step out of the
house,
that kind of
and come back.
and come back. So it was like, no, not for my own domot, according to our own, not for my own domot. So you just need to go back there. So the last time was like I needed to escape, because it was now affecting me health-wise. The beating, sometimes you are in the hospital for 3 days unconscious. Really, it was that bad, and it was something that I really tried to keep to myself. Because to me it was shameful. You see the next woman enjoying marriage, and then you begin to question yourself.
Seemingly.
God, what is wrong with her? Why, you know, things like that. But at a point I just said, no, I need to leave. When people around me, I can mention one, Emeka Wawa's wife died. She wanted to go to a party, and then the husband pushed her, you know, and then she from being unconscious, she passed. And about 3 of them like that, 3 cases, and now said, no, I'm going to live for my kids. And,
Okay.
Okay. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be wondering, like, didn't you know that he was a woman beater, or probably a wife beater, before you actually got married?
Honestly, when you are getting into it, you don't know. They are just this very nice kind of men. Very nice, you know, very, very nice. But the point you get pregnant for your first child, you understand? Then the number one, I'm not Igbo, he's Igbo, I'm from Edo State. And then the family will tell you that, just like what we're talking about, the family say, I just pray that this pregnancy she gives birth to a girl, we're just going to throw her things out of, you understand? So, and then you see my mother-in-law then coming to tell you that, I wish my son married somebody that was taller than you know? So, you know, you can, very flimsy excuse. Then you see the family come, this boy that you married from this family, he's the egg that must not get broken. You know.
Wow. It's a whole lot. All right, let's bring Pastor Ola into this discussion. What's your take really on domestic violence?
You know, it's really very sad just watching Don speaking. He's someone that came from the United States. He will never do that.
Abroad.
He will never try it. But there's something about Nigeria. It's a cultural thing that people feel they can beat people up
And get away with it.
They can get away with it.
Sure.
Because I know the police officer. I had a pastor friend. She's actually late now, and the husband used to beat her. And she went to the police, reported. Apparently the DPO is married to the husband now. And she was seen as the person, it's a norm. What happens to a lot of women is that they lose their self-esteem.
Yes.
You hide it because you expect people to believe you're in this beautiful relationship. And even in the church, and which I normally say, because on my platform I say to a lot of people, until when you are in there and you know someone that's been abused, just like this wonderful, beautiful woman is talking about, she's the only one, and the pain is still there. It doesn't go. That's why I have an NGO called Women Cry No More, and that came out from domestic violence, because the most calls I get is from women that are high in caliber, that people like say, she's strong. How can a man beat her?
But then secretly,
quietly,
she's
she's dying. And that's what I see with a lot. I want to use my Nigeria, I call it United States of Nigeria. Why do I say that? Because there's so many things in our system that is very sad. You find that our parents want you to be in that marriage, whether you're being beaten. Not my parent.
we know that.
Of course not. But they want you to be there. They want you to be called Mrs. As people want it. But marriage is beautiful. It's lovely. It's a beautiful institution. But when you get into that wrong one, an abuser doesn't look at an abuser. He's the most loving man. He will give you the best. Oh, Valentine is coming. Oh, Nigeria, here we go. Oh, he's going to do everything you need. But truly, he's in control. He controls you and breaks you down completely. So when you see a woman speaking and they tell you that now we become very aggressive, that no, I'm drawing this defense, no way.
No more.
Is that going to happen to me again? We saw that film. The mother is saying, go and beg him. Beg him for what? Get an area boy, beat him.
Very
Let him whip him very well. Let him get the same beating. Him. And this, so he too will think. Actually, there's something on social media in Kenya where they went to lay the man down and gave him over 60 strokes
of the cane
on his backside.
Yes.
And they said to him, never you touch that woman again. If we have then, when we're young, not that I'm old, if somebody beats you, you get your big brothers. They go and pull him down. But now, there's something wrong with our system in the society. How can you come from US and you didn't touch her in US, but you could beat her in Nigeria?
In Nigeria. And then you were bold
and
enough
you were bold. I watched
to
it.
come out
and record yourself.
Yes, it was a live podcast.
And say that.
I watched it live. It was live, and he had his sunglasses on, and he was saying,
and he had an attitude.
Yes, he had this ego around him that I'm Donna Sage, who's gonna touch me? He's just a boy on platform on Facebook. He's a boy. He's not a man. He's a boy, and I keep on saying it. Don is a boy. If he's a man, he will have a protocol to tell him, keep your mouth shut. Don't come on social media. And don't talk that rubbish.
No remorse.
He doesn't care.
No. All right, Witty Sally, you are a marriage therapist and a counselor. You must have seen a lot of these cases, you know, in your line of job and all of that. Would you say that women are responsible for what they go through in marriage, based on your experiences?
Marriage is beautiful. It's a beautiful institution when you marry your own husband. Now you can go out and date a guy, go through courtship and all that and say, okay, yes, he's my husband. But when you go into marriage, it's a different ballgame. Now, like what she said, what Gloria said, by the time you have your first issue, you see the real man. By the time you have the second, you see another man. By the time there's financial stagnation in the marriage, there are crises like that. You see another man. By the time there's delay in pregnancy, there's another man. They just get, you know, when you are knitting, you just keep on turning.
It's like peeling an onion.
That's how
they unfold.
Yes,
they evolve.
You never get to the middle. That's how men are. Now you cannot say it's the woman's fault. It can never be the woman's fault. Come on. A man's behavior now in a marriage is his culture growing up. Culture builds somebody. You know, you see a man beating his wife. Beating. No, a slap is different though. Beating.
Trashing. Pounding.
When she's not your maid. Even a maid now, there's a law for beating up maids. Yes. If like what Pastor said that you come from America, you can't even try it.
You can't try it.
Abroad. 911 is just by the corner. Then you come to Nigeria. As you land Muritala Airport, you're whoom on her face. Why can't we have that kind of principle in Nigeria for beating up your wife? I mean, the government needs to hear this. I handle issues and I'm like, okay, this is the capacity at which I can do as Witty Sally. But you know that at this point, the government needs to get into this matter. How can a man come up sarcastically and say that trash?
It's Nigeria.
And say he's what? That if you do something, I will beat.
I'll put you in your place.
I'll put your what up. Because a woman did what. So a woman doesn't have a right to say what she needs to say in her home. In marriage. Marriage is both parties, a husband and wife. It's not a statutory thing that is just a man that has to lay the rules and everybody follows. It's not a military cantonment now.
Actually, it is, you know.
In Nigeria.
The United States of Nigeria is.
I mean,
you must follow the rules.
If
there's the slave master kind of
if the government can come into marriages, it will go a long way. If a woman goes to the police station to report her husband, the government should give audience to such a wife. It happens once, it happens twice. Now a wife goes to the hospital, they rush her to the hospital, and she's passed out for like 3 days. And the mother comes and packages her and says, go back to which husband? So when she dies, who is going to blame? Then the man takes off. I have a case that the woman slumped, passed out, she lost the pregnancy. The man is nowhere to be found till now. We are still looking for the husband. We have tried calling government, come and intervene. Government is nowhere to be found. Now, apparently, this man is somebody in power.
With
all the money, all the connections and everything. And the lady is just a simple young lady who just graduated from school. And maybe you train her all through in your marriage. You put her through school. You are the one feeding the family. You are the one running things in the girl's home.
I'm happy you brought that up because
most times in the family.
Yeah, a lot of this also
it comes back to the parents.
Is resting on the shoulders of empowerment for women.
Yes.
Especially for women who are economically totally dependent on a man. It's worse for those kind of women. Yeah. So I think there should be more policies to empower women.
With all the enlightenment that a lot of
Sorry,
people
let me
get
come
to
in
talk
there.
about. Come in.
When I had my daughter, that happens to be my third child, I told my husband then that I needed to work. I needed to go back to music because he met me in music. That was when he punched these eyes that you're seeing here. Hey, you want men to be looking at you. Hey, you want this? Yes. So sometimes they just don't want it.
They don't want you to do anything.
They don't want it. They just want to be in control.
Okay, now, so having said now all this, because there's some men that we have a guy in the studio here with us, or rather a man in the studio. It should have been better, it should have been balanced. But don't you think there's some women that still push these men to the wall? And note that there's still some women that still beat up their own husbands too.
Oh.
They do,
That's
they
a
are.
classic. They do.
Yes.
They do.
So what do you think?
Okay, now you said something. You said that the woman push. Is there any justifiable reason for a man to beat her? What would the woman tell you that you beat her?
Okay, now let's talk about women that get to beat their husbands. Yes.
I normally preach something, and this is a fact. We women, we're good. We can talk.
We are born that way. We are wired that way.
As you're talking, you're moving your distance.
Okay.
You're pushing back. Don't be so stupid enough and go in the face.
As you're talking, move towards the door.
Just begin to move.
Just be respecting yourself.
Just be respecting yourself. Move back. Just be moving.
Because the man will prove that
and as it's coming, you'll be moving more.
Yes.
Be moving until you disappear.
Okay.
But nowadays, you find that, I'm sorry to say this, the abused woman actually feel that she's being favored being beaten. Because you feel that, okay, I did this thing, that's why he's beating me. And we kiss up, we make love, we make up intercourse. It's so nice. He tells you, Rosie, Rosie, you say, well, it's fine.
buys you a new car.
That is if there's a car. Some will not get a car.
Okay.
They will only get a bread. And in that bread, they'll be contented with it. But one thing I notice about our nation, which I'm trying to bring in for women, is that a lot of men, and listen, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things wrong with our system. Men that pregnant women, don't take care of them. There's no system to take care of those children. And therefore, when the woman is being abused, she cannot leave because there's no law to force the man to pay and take care of those kids. And therefore, we see a lot of promiscuity on a level that is shocking. And you find that these women will be there because they're going to think, where am I going to go? Who judge is going to pass the order?
Exactly.
Who's
Who
going
take
to
care of the
enforce
children?
it? Who is going to enforce it? Who's going to tell them that you need to pay this, which is different from abroad. Once they take you to court, there's going to be a process whereby if you don't pay, it takes out of your wages. They're snatching it. But in Nigeria, the powerful ones remain powerful.
They're the ones messing up. Like
Exactly. So they impregnate your daughter, they run your child through school, the child gets pregnant, and then you think of how am I going to take care of that child? It's okay, let him beat me. It's okay, I'll take it. But you are
I'll take it for the children.
I'll take it for I can't take anything for any child.
Yeah, I'm just saying what their rationale is. I'll take it for the children.
Because the children are going to grow up and they're going to live their life.
Now let me talk about, before you continue, this take it for the children.
Yes.
I remember my friend in her home, she noticed that the father kept on beating the mom. Then the mom would go in, this is matured like us now.
Yes.
You notice that your dad is still beating your mom. Then she goes in and she meets the mom and says, Mommy,
Why are you here?
what is going on? She now said, It's because of you. Mommy, it's not because of me.
Oh, you love it.
You'd like to be better.
Oh, big time.
Okay. Your child telling you, Mommy, move. We are grown up. We don't need.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, Pastor Ola, you did raise a very salient point there. I think employers of labor too should wade into this matter.
Exactly.
While we wait, I always use that word. While we wait for the government to do what is proper. For instance, if a wife comes to report your employee and says, this your employee doesn't do his responsibilities at home.
Take it out.
You understand? And I think employers should wade in and find a way to automatically, take something out of his salary and give to the wife. That will check all this to a large extent.
To a lot of people's privacy.
That's a lot.
Privacy. If you go down to the police station, they will tell you that it's a family matter.
Not anymore. Not anymore. That was before.
Which
that was before.
Is so
that
wrong.
was before. In most police stations now, you actually have a desk, separate from the front counter that handles issues that have to do with abuse and violence.
Policemen.
Thank
Now
you.
I go and report my husband to the police station, and I say, DPO or whatever, that my husband did this, that. Then I go home. I go back to that same house.
Same
to the same house. Am I supposed to sleep well?
Even
the police is supposed to
attack you.
Yes, the police is supposed to first of all give you an alternative.
No, but like you said, good policemen. I remember some years back when the father of my kids was really beating the hell out of me. So I had to, we're staying in a duplex, so I had to just say, okay, wait, I'm going, because he had a gun. He had a licensed gun. And then he had a licensed gun because he felt he had enough money. And I remember I was running. Then we had Operation Sweep, and they stopped me. And like, hey, what's happening? I said, I'm coming. I want to breastfeed my daughter. Then I now had to jump from the balcony, and I just started running. I had to go through the bush parts because if he drives with his car, I just knew I was dead. And the policeman, I will not forget that police officer stopped me and like, what's going on? I said, gone. And the only thing I could say was gone. My kids gone. So he took me to the station, got like 10 policemen to follow me down to the house. When he got to the house, my dear sister, he counted 210 bullets holes on the wall. And he said, any exchange? I said, no, it's just me.
Wow.
If I talk, the gun. If I make any move, it's a gun. I could not say anything. And my father will tell you,
go back.
Your husband house.
Oh, okay. Let's look at feedback.
Brought me out. So
there's still some
And
policemen they go
back
now.
After that day, after that incident, did you still go back to your husband's house?
I could not go. I know I went back. Oh.
You always go back.
I went back because the family, he detained him and his own family now like if he go, they send him to prison. What are you going to tell your children?
That you sent your father.
Send their father.
I think it's a culture. It's a culture. It is our culture that needs.
But it's in our hands to change it.
All right, let's look at how people are responding. Ediye Mbakara. All right, you said, "Good day, ladies. I enjoy your program so very much. But in spite of it, my contributions have never been read out. Sorry about that. We're reading it now.
Yeah.
Anyway, you went on to say domestic violence is quite common in this part of the world. Please stop calling this line. You're saying something about you were once a victim, all right, but for God's sake, no offense is good enough for any man to beat up his wife. And you said my advice to fellow women going through this is that you should not be afraid or ashamed to cry out. If possible, suspend the marriage, in brackets, not divorce. Yes, you can separate and work things out, and then let's see how that goes. All right, this one says, good afternoon, beautiful ladies. Please help us tell our men to take us back to where they took us from. If they can no longer accommodate us, rather than beating us.
What's the name of that person?
We are the weaker vessels, and the moment a man hits a woman,
back to standard.
hits a woman, he automatically becomes a weaker. Thank you for that. Any man that hits a woman is a coward. Yes. We women must also learn to tame our tongues. Thank you so much. That one is from Mary from Ikeja. You need to learn to tame your tongue. All right. This other one says, Hashtag the buzz. 5 women discussing domestic violence. Can a cockroach expect justice in the gathering of chickens?
I beg your pardon. We're eagles.
In my opinion, it goes both ways. Sometimes the man is the victim. We agree. Let the men come out and talk.
Oh, yes. Oh.
Let them come out and talk. This one says, my husband was in hospital and he discharged himself and came home to beat me up and stand on top of my pregnancy. Wow, that's a deep one.
My goodness.
Okay, this other one, Peter from Delta State is saying we should please help to proffer a solution. What more solution do you want us to say? If you are in it, speak out. You need to speak out. If you keep quiet,
that's the beginning.
That's the beginning. Acknowledge the fact that you're being abused.
The right person.
Yes, speak out.
Tell the right person.
Because there are times that you can just tell the wrong person and it makes it worse.
Exactly. All right, this one says, as a matter of fact, as a man, no matter how you're being pushed to the wall, that does not give you any right to beat your wife.
Listen.
I prefer taking my shirt and walk out of the house and come back when everybody is in bed. That's a wise man there. Yes.
Oh,
he said that has been my father's attitude towards any misunderstanding at home, and it has worked for me too. Yes. All right. Engineer Bola says, I'm enjoying your program, ladies, but you need to find old women and get more experience from them. Old women, I don't think I can find any woman older than my mother.
Mom, ask me.
And I know what my mother's stand is on domestic violence.
Can I reply her?
Yeah, go ahead.
Age has nothing to do with experience.
Exactly.
Number one. And I know this is the cultural thing I talk about. People are twisted in their mind. The old now will continue to say to you, stay there.
Stay there, that's it.
This generation now knows better because of your children. Once an abused person doesn't stop it, your child will take the same thing along as well. That's true. And we need to stop it. We need to stop all this. You know, United States of Nigeria, we need a lot of things to be done. All our women look good. I call it all packaging. Our eyes is puffed up. We put the nice makeup on, but we're dying inside. Pastor's wife, deaconess, whatever name they've given themselves. They are going, politician's wife, they're giving the advice, but they're actually going through the same thing. So tell me, what would you advise? You're in pain, you give pain. And therefore you tell to the women, oh, don't worry, daddy understands. And this daddy business, your husband is older before he even gets old. You started with a beautiful pet name, you change it to daddy this, daddy Emeka, Daddy Vola. Then he's not your daddy, he will flog you now. He's your daddy. So he sees you as a child. So when you say daddy, he sees you as a child. He could discipline a child. But when you see each other as the love you started with, it takes time for him to even being able to. But nowadays, because of little money, United States of Nigeria women will go on our knees. Daddy. You need to say yes. Daughter. Take one or two. But the real men, and we know, I'm telling you, in this country, we have beautiful, lovely men, men of substance, that will say, we are lippy. Don't let lie. Our mouths can run. The man will just carry it. She said, we have boxers, and the man will just keep on walking. And he comes on at night. Those are men.
Yes, when the heat starts in my house.
That's a man. A
we have
man,
boxers and run.
if you're not ready to get married, you're still a boy. A man goes into marriage. A boy is out of marriage. Stay out of it.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. This one says the Nigerian police does nothing about men beating their wives. In my premises, a police inspector always beats his wife naked, even when with pregnancy outside. And when she reports him in the police station, they don't always pay attention. All right, this other one is saying, someone from Obosi is saying every woman facing abuse should leave the marriage. We are not advocating for people to leave their marriage. That is not what we're doing yet. We're just saying you need to seek help. All right? Because even that man that is battering you,
Psychological
yes,
that's just one
might
of
be a
the
product of
issues,
abuse.
yes.
I know there are
you need
times
to
that-
speak out to help yourself and that man. So speak out.
And do you know there are times that a lot of people actually go through this? It's more or less like a disorder. And once you get to tell a lot of people, go and see a psychiatrist. They feel that, oh, it's only just the
you're mad.
mentally
Yes.
disordered people that go and see the psychiatrist. No, you need to. Even with temper.
Yes. All right, we need to move on, but before we do, closing remarks. The statistics on domestic violence in Nigeria is shocking. And according to the National Population Commission and ICF Macro 2009, Nigeria has one of the highest rates of domestic violence in Africa.
Wow.
Now, in a random survey conducted in Oyo and Lagos State, it indicated that 65% of educated women are abused, and 56% of blue-collar or market women experience similar attacks. And of course, we do know there is an emotional side of this abuse, because a woman that's been battered for years, you cannot be a
She can
stable
never be
human being.
coordinated.
So
Not
in
possible.
case you are facing what we're discussing, or you know someone who is being constantly abused and needs help, the Lagos State does have an office that takes care of that. It's called the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team. And online, you can find them at info@dsvrtlagos.org, or you simply call the number 0813 796 0048. I'll take that number again, 0813 796 0048. Call them and they respond quickly. I can testify.
Wow.